Welcome to this video lecture series on ITIL Foundation. This is topic 01, Key Concepts of Service Management, video 3, Utility versus Warranty. Welcome back, friends. Glad to see you here. In this section, we're going to talk about services, utility, and warranty. So, we'll try first to understand how ITIL defines a service. Explore why organizations provide services in the first place, and introduce service provision and service offerings. Why does this matter? Services are the very foundation of ITIL. It is the focal point. All ITIL practices support value creation through services. If you understand services, you largely do understand ITIL. So our focus here is utility versus warranty. From the point of view of ITIL, core concepts in the ITIL service value system are utility and warranty. We'll define value from the customer perspective. Utility is what a service does. The service delivers what? The service helps us do what? Warranty is how well the service performs. We need both of these things to deliver value. Utility is your functional performance. What the service does. Your washing machine washes clothes. Your dryer dries them. Your refrigerator keeps things cold or frozen. The features that meet a specific need. Removes constraints or enables outcomes. So, not only does something function in a certain way to help you out, but also it will help you overcome conditions that are resistant. It answers the question, does this service do what I need done? For example, email servers allow sending and receiving of email messages. That is its purpose, that is its function. A payroll system will calculate salaries and maybe even automatically distribute the salaries into bank accounts. That is its function. A VPN allows remote access through an unprivate network, usually secured by encryption. That is its function. If it solves a problem, it has utility, and that's an important thing. That's a good thing. That's an absolutely necessary thing if we're hoping to have value. What about warranty? Warranty is your performance assurance. How the service performs. Availability. So if a service does everything right but you can't access it, there's no value. Availability is usually handled or outlined in an SLA, a service level agreement. Internally, an SLA will be backed up by an OLA, which is an organizational level agreement, and we will talk about those a little further on. Capacity. How much carrying capacity do we have? You might say, well, this thing functions. This is a car and it functions. It moves people from point A to point B. Can it move one person? Very well. Can it move 4 people? Quite well. Can it move 150? No, it can't. It would have to make multiple trips. It's not designed for that. Capacity is important. When we are attacked with a denial of service attack, the person is trying to use up some of our capacity. Certainly with a computing system, if you let your disk fill up, it will stop functioning. It will cease to function. Continuity. Continuity is capacity, and availability is trying to keep things up and keep them available. When things do go down for whatever reason, a fault, a power outage, a disk drive crash, whatever the reason, continuity is talking about how quickly we can get that service back up to have their performance of their job again. We want to resume production. Security is trying to, all of the other things might be built in, they might be mechanical, they might be human error. But security is strictly about attack. It can be physical and it can be logical. And we respond to security risks by putting in security controls. Warranty is all about answering the question, can I rely on this system, or service? Not does it work, but can I rely on it? A service must be available when we need it, secure, fast enough to do what we need to get done in a timely manner, and supportable. And it must have the ability to be supported in the long term. Now, one of the ways that our user community might communicate the requirements to us is called FERPs. And FERP stands for our functional needs, and that's associated with utility. What the thing does, can it do the job? Can I be moved by a car from one side of the island to the other side of the island? Yes, it can do that. Then we have the other part, usability. You sit down with a remote control and you look at it and you can't figure it out. You can't figure it out, you're not going to get a lot of efficient work done with it. Reliability. If one half the time you try to use it, it doesn't work, it is not very reliable and not very dependable. Performance. Is it fast enough to do the job we need to get done? And again, security. So those four things in the FERPS model are considered the non-functional requirements. So we have functional requirements, which are associated with utility. And we have the non-functional requirements, which are associated with warranty. For example, I need to carry water around with me, and so somebody gifts me a thermos, a beautiful thermos. And it's functionally everything I need. I need it to keep hot things hot and cold things cold for 4 hours. I need it to be able to contain 750 milliliters of liquid. It's perfect, it's great, but I don't use it. Why? Because it's too big to fit on my bicycle. I need a different design. It's the same thing. It's aluminum. It has a removable cover. It keeps things hot or cold for 4 hours. It holds 750 milliliters. From the point of view of functionality, those two things are identical. But from my point of view, I spend so much time on my bicycle, I can't use the functional yellow version of it. I need the version beneath it in pink. Utility means fit for purpose. What the service does, the features and functionality associated with it. Can it solve the problem? Can it do the job? That thermos definitely could. That wider thermos definitely could. But I still didn't use it. Not very often. Warranty is fit for use. How it performs. Performance and reliability. Dependable solution. Can I trust it? And can I use it? For the thermos example, I could not use the wide thermos on my bicycle. Not directly. I could carry it in a different way, and I do sometimes. But I mainly drink from the one that will clip right onto the bicycle. Let's get an example from the real world. Transfer money. What we might want to do with a kiosk is look at our bank account. Transfer money, pay our bills, and view the transactions. Now, that's our utility. From the point of view of warranty, we might demand 99.9% uptime. In the telecommunications industry, they're called counting nines. And AT&T back in the day when it had a monopoly was required to have 7 nines. 99.99999% uptime. That's a lot of uptime. Secure authentication. Why is authentication such a big thing lately? Because we measure security against policy. And policy quite often wants to identify who the human being is that's typing on the keyboard. But knowing who the human being is not something a computer naturally does. Authentication is a means of identifying the human being to the computer. We need fast response time. If I need to get from my home to work in 30 minutes or 40 minutes, I'll use mass rapid transit. I will not use my car, that's for sure. And we need to have a disaster recovery plan, because no matter how many controls we put in place, no matter how careful we are, sooner or later, something's going to go wrong. And we need to recover. Remember continuity? This is what it's all about. So if an application works but's always down, then we have utility but not warranty, and there's no value. If the platform is stable but can't transfer money, then we have warranty without utility, and again, we have no value. It has to have both. It has to do the thing we want done, and it has to do it reliably. Utility and warranty together. So what is value? Remember, we said before, value is utility plus warranty. You need them both. You need to have the service provider and the customer working together to provide it, to co-create it. No value exists unless we have both. Our functional needs need to be met, and the performance and reliability expectations need to be satisfied. Now, if you're going to sit the exam, here's some hints. If question mentions features, the word features, almost for sure it's talking about utility. If it mentions availability or capacity or security, it's almost certainly talking about warranty. If it says something like fit for purpose, that's utility. And if it says fit for use, that's warranty. And a lot of questions have a distractor, one that's trying to trick you. A service works but is frequently unavailable. It's lacking in warranty. So, one more time. Utility helps the system solve problems. Warranty has it working reliably and dependably and is performing fast enough. So for utility, the service does what we need. For example, the help desk helps us track issues. For warranty, the service is reliable. For example, the system is available and up. It won't help you very much if you call service desk and their tracking system is down. Both aspects influence our perceived value, and they both need to be present. Thank you for attending this brief video lecture, and we look forward to seeing you again very soon.